If you've been scrolling through endless floor speaker options, watching the same best-of videos, and still feel that vague knot of uncertainty about whether any of them will really fit your room, your listening style, and your budget, you're not alone. That hesitation usually comes from two things: the fear of ending up with a pair that looks great but sounds flat, and the worry that you'll waste money on a subwoofer that either drowns everything out or never really fills the room. In this review, I'll walk through exactly what the ELAC DF53 BK floor speaker bundle with the Varro premium 12-inch sub brings to the table, so you can decide if it's the right match for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of setup most people end up with when they buy a floor speaker plus sub combo. You've probably already got an AV receiver or a decent stereo amp, a TV or a projector, and you're looking at a living room or a dedicated media space that's somewhere between 150 and 300 square feet. In that scenario, you need speakers that can stand up to both dialogue clarity and the occasional movie explosion, while the sub takes care of the low-frequency rumble without making the rest of the soundtrack feel distant. That's the sweet spot the ELAC DF53 BK aims for. The DF53 isn't a brand new design. It's the third generation of ELAC's debut line, which has built a reputation for delivering a balanced, reference-like sound at a price point that doesn't require a PhD in audio engineering. What makes this version stand out are the custom aluminum tweeter and the newly developed Aramid fiber woofer. The aluminum tweeter is meant to stay crisp and free of distortion even when you crank up the volume for a high-energy action scene, while the Aramid fiber, essentially a superlight, high-strength material, helps the 5.25-inch cone move quickly and accurately. In practice, what you hear is a front stage that feels surprisingly detailed for its size. Vocalists sit right up in front of you, and instruments like acoustic guitars and pianos retain their natural timbre instead of sounding processed. Pair that with the Varro premium 12-inch powered subwoofer, and you get a system that can handle the low end without needing a separate room calibration device. The sub's auto EQ feature listens to the room's acoustics through a built-in mic and adjusts its crossover and phase settings on the fly. When I set it up in a medium-sized living room with a standard carpet and a few pieces of furniture, the auto-tuning took about a minute, and the result was a bass response that felt tight enough for a drumroll in a rock song but still smooth enough for a movie soundtrack's rumble. The sub's 350-watt amplifier gives it enough headroom that you can push it for a home theater night without the output sounding clipped or boomy. Now, let's get into the practical strengths that matter after you've unboxed everything and wired it up. First, the speakers are tall enough to be true floor standers, but their footprint isn't excessive. They'll sit comfortably on most standard speaker stands or directly on the floor with a small piece of carpet. The black finish is understated, which means they blend into a dark entertainment center without demanding attention, yet the grill's texture still hints at the premium vibe. Second, the crossover design between the tweeter and woofer is well tuned out of the box, so you don't have to spend hours tweaking the high-frequency roll-off. Third, the sub's auto EQ eliminates the guesswork that usually comes with positioning a subwoofer, no more walking around the room with a test tone and a stopwatch. Fourth, the combination of aluminum tweeter and Aramid cone gives you a clear, controlled high-end and a punchy mid-range, which translates to a very natural soundstage for movies and music alike. Every product has trade-offs, and the DF53 bundle is no exception. Because the speakers are designed to be accurate, they don't have the exaggerated bass boost that some cheap floor standers rely on to mask low-frequency weakness. If you're used to a bass-heavy sound from a budget pair, you'll notice the DF53's bass is tighter, which is great for fidelity but might feel less exciting until the sub is engaged. That means the sub isn't an optional extra, it's practically required if you want the full cinematic experience. Also, the speakers are a bit heavier than many entry-level floor models, so you'll need sturdy furniture or a wall mounting solution if you're tight on floor space. Finally, while the auto EQ does a good job, it's not a substitute for proper placement. The sub still benefits from being placed near a wall or corner if you want the deepest notes to feel impactful. If you're in a very small apartment where the sub can't be tucked away, you might end up with a bass response that overwhelms the room. Who should buy this bundle? If you already own an AV receiver that can deliver at least 100 watts per channel into 8 ohm loads, and you have a room that